Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your favorite income producing homemaker. My name is Adriana. We have little Avery. You guys may or may not be able to see her. She's enjoying her snack time right now. So I thought it would be a perfect time for me to hop on. Of course, we are in the middle of the workday. So I want to I want to honor and respect the time that our household puts towards our business. So I thought it would be a great time to record a video, right? And one of the things that I wanted to start for Thursdays is Vision Thursday. And I think it's a great opportunity to check in on our achievements, what we're doing, our wins, things that maybe we failed at. And we said, hey, we didn't get that right. Let's go ahead and tweak and make the adjustments in order to do better next time, right? And what better way to start that, right? Than where it all starts. Of course, it starts with God, but where it all starts, it starts with your vision, right? And it's super important to make sure that you write the vision and make it plain, right? And a lot of people, I know you guys have heard that time and time again. Sometimes it seems like it is just, it's something that's redundant. It's something that you kind of just put on the back burner because you've heard it so frequently. But I think that it's time that we take a lot of those, what people would consider old scriptures or frequent scriptures that people just quote for the sake of quoting, and really do begin to meditate on those things and ask God what their meaning is, not just their meaning in general, but what is their meaning in our particular lives, and watch how it reignites you, right? And this thing in particular definitely was one for me whenever it comes to vision boards. I've heard people say it all the time. I've heard people talk about vision boards. There have been times where I try to, rally up, especially my early college years and all that, do vision boards, and just, I lost traction with them. It's like you put all these things down and it's like, okay, then what? One of those sort of things. And I would be involved with strategic planning sessions, all of these things, and still find myself at some point of the year stuck, or still find myself at some crossroad or something going on. So this year, I was very intentional. For those that know me, you guys know I do not wait until a new year starts in order to make adjustments or make tweaks, or if I find myself at a crossroads, I'm not waiting until the new calendar year in order to say, hey, this is a new season or this is a new transition for me. I'm definitely not that type of person. But this year I really sat down with myself, and I sat down with God first, right? And I said, Lord, what is it that you would have me to do? What is it that's going to work? And for me, I noticed there were several areas in my life that were subpar, right? There were several areas in my life that were lukewarm. And I'm just like, Lord, my desire is to do right in these areas. My desire is to do better, to be better in these areas. What is it that I'm doing incorrectly, right? And for me, I really felt like I tried to skip the process, right? There were things in the process that I tried to, or that I did, whether it was consciously, unconsciously, or subconsciously. I just kind of skipped the process, avoided the process, tried to rework the process in order to get to our expected end faster somehow. And it wasn't working out. So Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And I'm following all these people, looking at all these things online, and especially in today's age, it becomes so easy to really look at what everybody else is doing, and then you try to apply that to your life. And what you have to do, if you see something that sparks interest, if you see something that sparks curiosity, if you see something that says, hey, this might be cool, to really now take that thing back to God and evaluate it. Take that thing back to God and say, okay, Lord, is this something that's for me? Because there are certain things you say yes to and certain things you say no to. Anywho, tangent side note. However, when I did that and when I took that time, God really did bring the writing the vision back to me, making it plain. Because a lot of these things, when it comes to the business, when it comes to the household, when it comes to my personal goals, a lot of those things just lived inside my head. And as soon as I would get busy enough, right, whatever that threshold is for you, whatever that threshold was for me, as soon as I get busy enough, then those things would begin to drop and they would begin to fall. So writing the vision became something that was very necessary in this time of my life. So I began to think about it, just like, okay, God, okay, we want to do a vision board, we want to do all these things. I saw these cutesy vision boards, but I knew that I didn't want to do a vision board where I just had like keywords and key phrases, and it was just supposed to somehow magically motivate me, right? Because I tried that and I haven't found much success in it. So I said, okay, how should my vision board look? How should it be structured to suit me? And when I thought about that, I was also just kind of like looking around, like the office as the main workspace where all the things happen. And one of the things that I saw that was very underutilized was my dry erase board, right? Besides my 16-month-old scribbling on it, doing whatever, those sort of things was very underutilized, even though I was supposed to be using it to write tasks on. I was supposed to be using it to kind of have what we had going on at the moment. The outline of those things was just very underutilized. I wouldn't update it, those sort of things. So I looked at it, and that's when I realized, okay, I need to put my vision board on the dry erase board because it was a large item. I knew if I did it on like a little piece of paper, I wouldn't go back to look at it. I knew if I did it on a computer, I probably wouldn't go back to look at it. I know if I did it on my phone, I probably wouldn't go back to revisit it or look at it. So I had to match my vision board with my discipline. Okay, I had to match my vision board with my discipline because there were two main things I was looking for in a vision board, right? One, I needed it to be visible, right? I needed it visible. The second thing that I needed is I needed it to be a working vision board. I needed it to be something where it was a vision board, but also a checklist. It was a vision board, but also showed accomplishments. It was a vision board, but it also allowed me to document the progress, right? And that way it could serve double duty. And for me, that equaled accountability. Okay, so I needed a vision board that was visible, and I needed a vision board that actually held me accountable. So this was the method that I chose to do it. I want to share briefly with you guys, and then as we get further down and into some of the coming weeks, we'll go over specific aspects of the vision board. If you guys would like to complete your own vision boards and like more details of kind of how I structure and organize, put it together, I'd be more than happy to do that, and have you take off for yourself as well. So yeah, so the way that we set it up and we kind of organized it, and of course after that point I got with my husband and said, hey, you know, especially when it came down to, you can't help me with my personal goals per se, that has to be me and God, but whenever, or my spiritual goals, it has to be me and God, but especially when it comes to things with the business, those sort of things, I definitely had to bring my husband in and say, hey, like, you know, what is our goal? What is our vision? Where are we going? Taking this thing. So that's what we did, and it actually came out really cool. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and just share the structure. And yeah, hopefully it helps some of you guys out there too, who may be thinking about doing a vision board. You haven't done it yet. It's still not too late, right? This is something I will continue to update, something I will continue to adjust, because things will continue to change and things will continue to, you know, things that we didn't expect or we didn't plan for will continue to pop up. So I did also want something that I could adjust, right? And if you haven't started it, feel free to start now. A lot of times they say statistically that people, whenever they start their New Year's resolutions, and I did not hear that word nearly as much as we used to hear it in the past, but that's why, that when people start their New Year's resolutions or start this whole campaign to be a new them and all this, that they usually just stop by that second Friday in January. Well, great news, we've passed that time frame. So you're automatically no longer a statistic. All right, go ahead and get started. Anywho, so the main things that I did for my vision board is set up into kind of like key parts. So part of it that I did with the vision board, some of them you can see like this one, some of them you're not able to see as well. But key things that I did with my vision board was really set it up where I had either key phrases or verses or things that God had brought to mind for me for this year, that really reignite me, that really spark me, that really say, oh yeah, God, you did say that. Or yes, God, that is what you told me. That kind of reminds me of why I started this in the first place. It kind of reminds me of that motivation and reminds me of that mindset that I started with in the very beginning of the year. So I put those things up there. For me, one of them is done is better than perfect. I won't go over all of them, but this one is very important for me because a lot of the issues that I saw coming into 2025 that I was still bringing with me, I saw because of procrastination. So I'm just like, okay, Lord, I know I'm a procrastinator, right, when it comes to certain things in certain areas, but really, like, what is the root of it? Why am I procrastinating? And for me, it was really because I'm not a perfectionist. But it really was because even when it comes down to emails sometimes, whenever I do something, I want it to be right. I want it to be done a certain way, and I want it to be right. But sometimes in my pursuit of doing that, in my efforts of doing that, I take a lot longer to do it, right? And my husband is the opposite. So we're balancing each other out in that regard. But it just took me longer to do it. And so it's not because I didn't necessarily want to do the task. It's because I wanted to make sure that it was done right, per se. So for me, this is something that I continue, even when I find my progress to be slowing down. This is something I continuously say to myself: done is better than perfect. But even in that, I couldn't just stop there, because I'm like, I'm not going to just put anything out there. Okay. I'm not going to just put anything out there. So, like any old raggedy old thing, I'm just not going to put it out there. So for me, it couldn't just stop at done is better than perfect. For me, also what settled with me is move forward with better on your way to best. Move forward with better on your way to best. And that really resonated to me when God dropped it in my spirit, because it's like, oh, okay, cool. Right? Because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is something you're constantly working toward, especially if you're building your own business or your own brand, your personal brand, those sort of things. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's something you're constantly working on. It's something you're constantly improving. It's something you're constantly adjusting. So that's necessary to move forward with better on your way to best. So it means, okay, get it to a point where you have put your best foot forward at that particular time. Right? So that would be considered the better, but you're on your way to best. So it means that you will continue to move forward in a direction that, is perfection or excellence in that regard. So that's one of the things that I really have been holding on to, and really seeing my productivity increase and be better. The other thing that I did is I split my vision board up into different sections. So some of them you can see again, some of them you can't, but God and faith, household, personal, and then also work. And then what I did in those particular sections is, yes, I put goals and things that we were reaching for, things we wanted to do. For me, like even a personal goal is to make sure that I start doing meal plans again. So adding things like that on there. So I did that for each particular section. We actually even added a subsection of work for new business. And for leads. And I didn't want to just stop there though, because again, this is a working vision board. So I wanted it to be something where it also kept me accountable. I knew my husband would be asking me questions like, how are we doing on these certain parts? I know, all of those things. And even for myself, I want to know, like, okay, what type of progress are we making toward the actual goals? Some things I've kind of taken out just because we do operate a real business. And I didn't want all of our stuff out there, but for the sake of you guys knowing the setup, I just took a couple things out, but left the overall structure. So one personal goal for me, because I don't have enough time to just do workouts all the time and to really do that whole thing, even though my heart is in the right place, trying to run the business, trying to, make sure our daughter's taken care of. Sometimes that part of it becomes really difficult. So one of the things I committed to is, okay, maybe don't commit to doing this whole elaborate workout. Maybe just commit to doing 1,000 jumps a day with a jump rope. I have a counter jump rope. It was something I didn't have to go ahead and buy. I already bought it. It was just sitting there collecting dust. So I said, okay, commit to doing 1,000 jumps a day. And that takes me about 15 minutes to do out of my day, and I can do it and get it done. And on my working vision board on here, I have an opportunity it's Monday through Saturday for me to go in and mark it off what days I did and what days I wasn't able to complete it, right? And when I'm honest, like most days that I am able to complete it, I have more energy. I find myself to start off on a better foot. All of those things kind of like it really helped. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but it really helped me to get the start of my day off a lot better. And most of the time it doesn't end at just 1,000 jumps, because I have the extra time. I'm like, okay, well, I can go ahead and do the squat routine or whatever the case may be and throw another exercise in there. So that part of it has been really helpful. And I can come in here and mark it off and then know when I've completed my task. And then a lot of times, like yesterday, I didn't get a chance to do my jumps yesterday. So what it'll probably look like today is me doing jumps this morning and then also coming back tonight doing jumps, because I want to be able to come in here and mark this off. Right, that it bugs me, right? And that's the type of accountability that I wanted to be able to hold myself to. We also have some other things set up, daily focus areas, all of those things where we can come in and just check those things off. So anyway, I hope this particular video was helpful. I'm going to stop here, but if you guys are more interested just in vision boards in general, if you're more interested in the structure, the way that I set my vision board up, feel free to reach out. Let me know. But you know, every Thursday I'll probably come in, just kind of check in with our vision, with our goals, how we're progressing, and ask you and try to find out too how you guys are doing. But anyway, little one is, I don't know if she's almost done with her snack or if she's finding more entertainment and playing with it, but we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna join her for snack time, and I'll see you guys later.